Well, Erik, a bit of heart shown when you were down to 10 men, but overall, was that an awful day for your team?
Sure. It's a bad start of the game. Tottenham was dominant. We couldn't get the right press, and we also make many mistakes in possession. We should make. I think we couldn't find the spare man, or we couldn't pass over the press, and we make wrong decisions. But we could have come back in the game because we had our chances with Zirkzee, with Garnacho on the post, and then I think the red card that changed, of course, the game.
You often come and stand in front of us if it's been a bad day, and you'll defend your players as best you can. But is that first half performance up until the red card really hard to defend today? Really poor?
It was no good. That's definitely. It's not possible that a player from the back can dribble through the whole team and then centre back from the opponent and then bring a cross in. And you should stop it at first, and also on the contra side. And we made very clear before the game how we should defend this. So this can't happen. And then I think we lost a little bit of confidence, and we were also poor in possession. And we can do better there. And I think all the players know this.
Yeah, is that really disappointing to have to say? Because there have been some really positive signs. I think you talked about it in the week with your defensive structure, with your build-up play. So today, the things that had been good, did they go missing?
Absolutely. I mean, we know Tottenham presses high, and we know when we attack, also they have a lot of speed in front. How you have to keep your positions, or how you have to take your positions. And there we were quite undisciplined, and then therefore we concede the first goal. And then you see a drop of belief, and we were too stressful on the ball.
What did you make of the red card?
I don't think it's a red card.
How big an effect do you think it had on the match? Because as you've just stood here and said, it wasn't a great performance when you had 11 men.
No, but I also said we had big chances with Zirkzee. Maybe he's oversee even Rashford. A ball on the post from Garnacho. It's only 1-0, so we could make a comeback, and I think it had a big impact on the game.
Do you think, in terms of how your team played, the progress you're looking to make, do you think we saw familiar failings today? Things we've seen many times in the past?
I'm not aware what you are thinking. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, turning the ball over when you're trying to play out. I mean, the press not looking entirely coordinated.
The press was no good first half. That I agree with this, but how we concede some counter-attacks after we counter, we make very bad decision making. We had a lot of space. And that's then also, I would say, the form of the day.
How do you turn this round, Erik? What, I don't know, you've had maybe a few minutes just then in the changing room. How on earth do you pick the players up?
It's always a new day, and I told them just in the dressing room, come on, tomorrow a new day, but we have to learn. We have to do things better. We have to be better in the pressing, especially also better on the ball, because there were situations where we could have played better to find the spare man, or to play over the press, to keep the ball and play from there, and we didn't do. And of course that is disappointed.
And I know you're as impatient as anyone for progress. You said that in your press conference in the week. How close are we to seeing some progress, Erik?
I don't want to talk today about progress after such a defeat. We have to deal with this. We have to show resilience, definitely, but don't talk about this moment today about progress. I want first to deal with this defeat.
Yeah. And lastly then, for you and your team, with Porto and Villa to come, does it just feel like a really big week for your season ahead now?
No, I just focus now on Porto. We will close this game down, so we deal with it, and then we move on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Gary Neville joins us from the gantry now. Gary, on the final whistle, you described the performance as disgusting. Now you've had a few moments for the dust to settle. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, my choice of words sometimes is a little unfortunate. But if all the words I used during commentary are atrocious, awful, disgusting, it was all those things in the first half. Second half, I comment less on because of the fact they're down to 10 men and they're having a little bit of a go. But just, he's talked about two things there. He's talked about the pressing element of the game. He's talked about, obviously, the playing out from the back. The pressing element, I mean, they sort of dropped to what would be sort of now deemed as a mid-block position when it was Xerxes and sort of Fernandez. And I couldn't work out what the trigger was for the press for the first sort of 5-10 minutes of the match. Surely one of the centre-backs is on the ball, whether it's Van de Ven or Romero. They press off one of them getting the ball because they think they're the weakest. Or do they wait for it to go to a right-back or a left-back and then they press off a side? It was as if they were just allowing Tottenham to basically play at their own will without any trigger for a press at all. So I wasn't quite sure what the plan was in terms of the press. You then come on to playing out from the back, and Tottenham do press pretty well. They've got good energy up front, and Manchester United have proven time and time again, only here against Liverpool a few weeks ago, that they get caught all the time against a half-decent team when they try and play out sort of from the back. And then we move on to the players. So you say, are the players not buying into what Erik ten Hag is telling them to do, or do they not believe in it? One thing I can say is that their application towards doing it was abysmal. And the most worrying thing was, and maybe I didn't pay enough attention to it on Wednesday night, was Eriksen's comments around the fact that he felt that FC20 wanted it more, that they were more hungry. That is a player that is in the middle of that dressing room, who I would suggest is very well respected by the rest of his colleagues and very well respected by the manager. He's an experienced player. He's played hundreds and hundreds of games at the highest level, and he's questioning the motivation and the attitude of his players. I would ignore everything else, to be fair, post this match and what's being said, and let's go back 3 days to that, because really what's come to the fore today is that what he's seeing day in, day out in training as an experienced player emanates on a weekend, and we've seen it here today. They really didn't put the effort in that first half. Now, in the past, when Manchester United have been in this position where, a manager has been under pressure, the players sometimes have felt the pressure, the strain, and they look drained and they look lacking in the belief, and that sometimes can mean that they look like they're not working hard. I don't believe any player goes out onto a pitch and wants to not play well and wants to get criticism. So I'm torn here today as to why Eriksen has said that on Wednesday about his teammates, that they're not hungry enough, because what we've seen out there in that first half today supports it.
Gary, we've had these post-mortems after Manchester United performances and results before, and Pat asked Erik ten Hag if the failings were familiar, if they were ones that we'd seen before. Ten Hag said he didn't really understand what Pat was referring to. What's your thoughts on that?
No, one thing we know from the last 10 to 12 years is that from a day like today, it becomes really challenging, and that you've got to reverse that very quickly. Great managers have been employed by this club over the last 10, 12 years, and they found it very difficult. And going into that third season, the ones who've got there have started to be put under a little bit of pressure. Erik ten Hag, obviously, at the end of last season was under great pressure, and the new owners had a look around the market to see whether they could find another manager and another coach. They decided that they couldn't do, and they supported Erik ten Hag and they backed him with a significant investment. However, they would have expected, I think, I felt like today was an important moment in the season for United, and naively thought that Spurs might be good opponents because of their high line and because of the fact they give you a chance. I just thought they've got all their players fit apart from Luke Shaw. It's Tottenham at home, where Manchester United historically have had a good record over the last 20, 30 years. And yet they were absolutely awful, and it was as bad as it gets. And that, a day like today, we've seen a few of them, haven't we, over the last 10 years? You've just mentioned it, Kelly, where you've been doing these interviews with me. And it hasn't gone that well from these types of day forwards. He's got to get a hold of it and a grip of it very quickly. And I would suggest the players, to be honest with you, have got that in their control. I'd be suggesting the players probably go and have a meeting themselves tomorrow morning without the manager, because they've got to decide first what they want to do. And Erik ten Hag has got a lot of friends in that dressing room that have worked with him previously at other clubs. They need to get a grip of that dressing room very quickly, because it doesn't look that great out there in that first half today.
And if the club have looked around in the summer and looked for a replacement for Erik ten Hag, then decided that he was the best option for them to start the season with, do you think they'll still be thinking that at this stage, after what you've said is has been a really important game for Manchester United that's gone completely the wrong way for them?
I think what they definitely would have been looking at, giving him a new contract and supporting him in the transfer market, is to give them probably 1 or 2 years of air cover to allow them. There's a lot of change going on behind the scenes in the club. just generally across the whole club, on and off the pitch. And they're obviously trying to implement an organisation and processes, and I think they would have wanted along the way some victories and some wins and some good performances, just so that they can get busy doing their work. The problem is, the sort of, if you like, attention is going to come towards them very quickly if the performances continue as they are, as it has been today, and the results, because they're going to be put under real pressure, and they won't want that at this stage. And, they're only 2 or 3 months in. They've tried to obviously sort of give Erik ten Hag some time, and I did expect them to get better. I did expect them to progress in the first few months after the transfer window that they had. But today has shocked me, I have to say, about how low they've gone. It was a really bad one. I know that David Moyes had some bad ones in the early days, and so has Ollie along the way, and Louis van Gaal, and Jose Mourinho and Ralph Rangnick. But that felt like one of those days today where they sank really low.
Gary, appreciate you staying back to talk to us after your commentary duties. The crowds should have cleared by now. Get a safe trip home.
Thanks for your concern, Kelly.
Thank you very much to Gary Neville. Look, he's clearly and is very heavily emotionally invested in what happens at Manchester United. Is it getting more and more difficult, do you think, to defend Ten Hag's position, Jamie?
Yeah, I'd have to say so. I've been doing this job a long time, and I've watched a lot of performances when managers subsequently lose their jobs. And that's the sort of performance, I'm seeing performances at the moment that are the sort of performances that gets managers sacked too often. And I feel I do feel slightly sorry for the manager. I said before, I do feel like he's out of his depth. He looks a little bit lost. And for that reason, what I mean by that is, at the start of the year, when your club are actively looking for another manager to come in and take your place, I think you are in a massively untenable position. You are naked in that dressing room as soon as you get that contract again, because the players know that...
That's next up on Thursday in the Europa League, a trip to Portugal. Let's go back to your pre-match comments. You said what was crucial today was to see some discipline, and he's just mentioned the big amount of ill discipline in the Manchester United performance.
It's every week, Steve. That's why I spoke about discipline. You thought Ugarte was it come to solidify that middle of the pitch and bring discipline to a team, and you think, what was it, 2 minutes? And they've gone right through you. He spoke there about the press was wrong. I didn't see a press. And in all honesty, in a game against Tottenham, who play the way they do, I don't think there was need for a press, because Tottenham keep the ball really well. All you have to do in that game today, it was quite an easy game, I thought, tactically, stay in positions. Don't let them come through you. And as I say, after 2 minutes, they've come through him straight away, and the amount of times they break through on him. Yeah. Stay in your positions, just play them correctly, not keep the spaces tight, don't let anybody play through you, and you will get chances, because they take a massive risk. And United's strength, as we've said before the game, was the 2 wide players. Now, the quality on the ball's another thing. You can't always blame the manager for that, but the quality on the ball was horrendous. The amount of times they did turn over possession. They were playing passes that was being read easily. Garnacho was running with it far too much, kept getting taken off him. Marcus looked like... He looked like a player the last week. You thought, yeah, we're getting Marcus Rashford back, and he just looked to slump back into his old ways again. Xerxes, with United centre-forwards, I think they're better without a centre-forward. I don't think Xerxes at this point... No, he's a young player, you've got to give him time, of course you are, but he's not good enough at this stage of his career and for where United are. United look a lot better in these bigger games. You think of City as an example in the cup when they play with just a false nine, really, whether it's Bruno Fernandes, whether it's Marcus Rashford, and try and... They've got to find a way of showing that midfield up, because the players they've got trying to do it, I don't think Manu particularly plays the position well. I think he's a little bit all over the place. Ugarte we saw again, and I constantly keep mentioning it. When your midfield players going out to the right-hand side, going out to the left-hand side, it just causes havoc for everyone. And I put Bruno Fernandes in that as well. He has to play with discipline, but that comes from the manager. The manager has to tell him, look, you're number 10, you stay there, you make our team. The number 10's job is to make your team play football. Now, if you're here, there, everywhere, showing a lack of positional sense, your team, it's impossible for you to play football. Now, it's very difficult for these young players to come into this team. Ugarte is a prime example, but when you're brought in to do that, as I went on before about recruitment, You have to bring players in that are better than what you've got. And at the minute, they're shown as if probably on a level, maybe even a level lower, and you're spending, what they spend, I don't know, 300 million, whatever it is. And there's absolutely no improvement.
Let's speak to your former teammate Andy Cole again, back at Old Trafford. Cole, you're listening to Scholes, you there? What did you make of today and everything?
What do you want me to say after that? I've got to be honest, there's not a lot I can say after that. I think it's disappointing day at the office. For some reason, Manchester United, being the home team, were all over the place. It didn't have to be the home team. Scholes, you touched on it. Play your positions. Tottenham will come out and try and hurt you, and then you have the opportunity to go and hurt Tottenham on the counter-attack.
And we're talking about, and the manager was as well, about a lack of discipline. I mean, is that acceptable for a big home game like that today? No,
because to play for a club like Manchester United, you've got to have discipline. That's first and foremost, that's what you've got to have. You've got to keep the football, and you've got to try and entice teams to come out and try and play a little bit, and then you hit them on the counter-attack, or you keep the ball well enough to open them up and create chances for them. Manchester United haven't done that today. When I go down after 2 minutes, when you go down after 2 minutes, it's going to be a tough afternoon, but at least try and get yourself back in the game. They wasn't good enough to get themselves back in the game, which is very, very disappointing.
Coley, the bigger picture, United have lost 3 already this season, 7 points from 18. That's their joint fewest at this stage of any Premier League season. How do they get some hope and change in this situation at the moment?
It's simple. You've got to win football matches. We can talk about whatever we need to talk about, but it's the players, once they cross that white line, they've got to believe in each other. They've got to grind out results. And like I keep touching on, once you grind out results, you bring confidence back, you go on to win football matches. At this present moment in time, there's not a lot of that going on. And they're going to have to deal with it as players. They're going to have to sit down as individuals. And if you have to dig each other out, you do just that. But you've got to turn it around.
Coley, thank you very much indeed for your contributions.
Thank you.
Andy Cole at Old Trafford. We can go back there now and hear from the captain, who, of course, was red-carded for the first time in his United career today, Bruno Fernandes.
Obviously, I left my teammates down with one man down. I do appreciate everything they did on the pitch. Obviously, it was tougher for them. We didn't start the game well when it was 11-11. Then, obviously, the result is on their side, and we get the situation with the red card. And obviously, I think they did very well. They tried. Obviously, we conceded another 2 goals, but it was difficult to cover all the spaces. But I think it's many good things that we can take away from this. The resilience of the team was always there, and I'm really proud of the team.
For you as captain, is that just the worst possible feeling, being sat in the changing room or wherever you were in the second half, not being able to help your teammates?
Well, obviously, no one likes to be sent off, and it's not a good feeling seeing my teammates running a lot and trying a lot to get a result and trying to score, because that's what they try to do, to get the result on our side, and we end up conceding another 2 goals, but they did try everything.
Tell us about the incident then, the red card from your perspective. It looked like you slipped going in, but how did you see it?
No, part of slipping going in, I don't take him as everyone wants to see it. I don't go with the studs. I take him with my ankle. It's a clear fall, but never a red card. That's my feeling. And even Maddison, when he gets up, and you can see in the image.
You saw the two of you talking. What did he say?
No, he just said like it is a fall, but it's never for a red card. That's what he said, and I think it's on the eyes of everyone. You can see that it's never a red card, because if this is a red card, I think we have to look at many other incidents, and I had many incidents when I get kicked and everything, and I've never seen something so quick coming off as a red card, and I just think it's never a red card.
So were you just in complete shock seeing the red card in the ref's hand?
Yeah, for me it's a fall. If he wants to give a yellow, because it's even the contact is not even that strong. If he wants to give me a contact because a yellow because it's a counter attack, I agree, and then I don't understand why VAR doesn't call the referee to the screen. It's for me, it's just not a really good decision. That's all.
Okay, like you said, your teammates showed quite a bit of resilience down to 10, but I think you touched on earlier the performance with 11 men. Was it really poor from Manchester United today?
Yeah, we couldn't. We found a lot of spaces, but then we couldn't never connect. And I think it wasn't always like one touch more, not great passes, not great link up, and then we gave the ball away too many times for them to counter, and then one of the goals comes from one bad pass from me, and then they go all the way up to score the first goal.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Yeah, Bruno Fernandes wanting to speak as the captain.
That's nice of him, I suppose. Yeah, look, I don't know what more to say, Steve. I disagreed with his comments about resilience, thanking his teammates for showing resilience. I actually thought Tottenham got a little bit sloppy with 10 men. He talks about they may have turned it round with 11 men. I think with 11 men, it could have been 3 or 4 already before he got sent off. So I think him getting sent off might have actually done him a favour. If it's 11 v 11, I don't think Tottenham would have stopped. I thought they got really sloppy at times. Second half, Madison at times giving the ball away. So look, he's captain. He's got to come out and say the things he does, apologise and all that stuff. It means nothing. And he was right. It wasn't a red card, but he gave the opportunity to the referee to be able to do it. And it's again a real lack of discipline. OK, you alluded to the bigger picture and what Erik ten Hag had spent. So Dave in our production team, who's been busy working this out for you, Paul. He's got some figures and names for you as well. Let's look at some of his major signings since he came in just over 2 years. Anthony is the most expensive. He's the third most expensive player in Manchester United's history. Højlund, Matt. Yoro, of course, who came in and is injured. Martinez, Onana, Ugarte, Casemiro, De Ligt and Zertsky. They're all 36.5 million plus since Erik ten Hag walked through the Manchester United door. Right, so in terms of spend and net spend, which is what Paul was asking for, here are the figures for Manchester United and compared to the other teams as well. Overall, 538.6 million. Only Chelsea, and we know what was happening there, have spent more. And the net spend is almost £385 million. And again, only Chelsea have spent more money since Erik ten Hag was appointed Manchester United manager. And the obvious question, 385 million net spend later, is are they any further on?
And what have they got to show for it?
Absolutely not.
Well, I looked at that list and I thought,
not.
Is there any successes on that list?
No.
I mean, I think the goalkeeper, Onana's, decent. But
plenty of practice.
But to say, any of them are, are successes, I'd say none. And that's why I said if I was in charge of the purse strings now, I would say right.
Because that proves how much he's been back.
There's a couple of young players in that, though. You think of the Lenny Euros, he's not even played a game yet, so you've got to give...
Yeah. But there's only Chelsea spent more money since Ten Hag was appointed.
Yeah, look, Steve, we all know, everyone can see it, there's absolutely no improvement. As I said, the De Ligt, I just never got. I just didn't see a massive... If you want signing, you're spending 50 million quid. I want a big rise. He's no Virgil van Dijk, is he?
Yeah.
He's coming in he might be a touch better than Maguire on today's evidence and evidence against good centre forwards, and even in Munich, he could get in Munich's team. And we're paying 50-odd million for him.
We talk about fixing the problems. He could have fixed that problem. We're talking about Man United still. It's a big attraction for any player to want to go there, right? He could have signed Declan Rice, who had no settling in period.
Harry Kane.
As a and Harry Kane, 2 players. And you would have got a nice bit of change. And you might have sold some, been able to sign some other little players around them. You're not only signing good players, you're signing proven Premier League players, good types in the dressing room, who may be influenced, and we know 100% for sure, I know firsthand, Harry Kane would influence others around him. And if they're not doing it in training every single day, he'd be telling them. You don't need the manager to do that. You need sometimes the manager helping that dressing room, but it comes from the top. If you're getting no respect from the top, don't expect your players to help you out. At the moment, I would look at that list and not only have they improved them, or has anyone been in success mode, I look at them and think, where do a lot of them play? I don't know. I can't say, well, he's a flyer on the outside. I'm not sure Anthony, for instance, I know he's been the most expensive, but he's been the poorest. And we're talking about a manager who signed him. He's not a surprise to him. He's someone who's worked with. How can he bring him into the football club and not play him? He's not playing him because he's fouled. So if I'm the owner of that football club and I'm giving him the chequebook, I'm saying, you knew this boy. You knew a lot of the other players you've brought into the club. Why on earth are you not playing them on a regular basis? Because it looks like you've wasted money, of the club's money. which they can ill afford to do. Go and spend it in the right areas. They've spent £400 million net, just short of, and they haven't moved on. They've gone backwards. They've gone backwards. They're not moving on at all. They need to get something right there, and they're not at the moment. The academy boys are getting them out of trouble.
We must take a break. By the way, anyone know who gave Harry Kane his debut? It's not been mentioned before. No
idea.
Player of the Match award there for Mickey van de Ven, not least for his role in that opening goal for Tottenham. And it was really lovely hearing the relationship between the two players and what they expected from each other. Because Van de Ven said, I knew that once that had opened up for me, that Brennan Johnson was going to be there. And Brennan Johnson said, I was smiling as it arrived to me because I knew I was in the right place and where he was going to go.
It's not what he said. They must have a great connection there. But I think Van de Ven, when you see him striding out from the back, he does take a quick look to try and find a pass, but you know, he sees the gap opening up, and with his pace he's just going to go down the line and get the ball across. And you know, with Brennan Johnson, I think he's full of confidence, and he wants to get in the box to score goals, and that's exactly what he's done. I think he's run off Dalot already when he sees Van de Ven picking up pace, and you know, to get in the back post, he's by himself, and I think he's smiling before the ball's even got in the back of the net because he knows he's got to tap in.
Do you know, it's one of those where Brennan Johnson just hope he see me. I really hope he see me here, because Van de Ven, I mean, the run's incredible, but to be fair to Brennan Johnson, getting himself in that situation, wide men don't do that often enough. Getting into that area, that back post, because they're 5-6 a season. They fly across the box, no one's ever there. But Brennan Johnson, fair play to him. He assesses the situation, and it's a really nice tapping for him.
But equally, there's no challenge on Van de Ven on the run through, and particularly Jamie, because he's given warning that he could do this before. I mean, Ashley's going to close his ears for a second. He's got previous.
He did it against Everton last year, and we've seen it. And he's got such amazing pace. If you give him a chance, this was this season. If you give him a chance, he can just go through the gears. Look, everyone else looks like they're going backwards. You can't stop him. He brushes people away. He gets quicker and quicker. And he obviously then can play the pass as well to Son. And that's such an advantage. That's what we talk about with modern-day defenders now, the fact that they can do that. Normally they get it and they give it out wide, but you can just see that he possesses such great pace, but he's also capable of getting on end product as well. Fantastic centre-back play.
And as you say, a fantastic centre-back player. He performs his defensive duties, but so much more is expected of defenders now. As Jamie was saying, it's not enough just to be a kind of solid defender anymore, is it?
No, of course not. You've got to be an all-round defender, and that's someone that wants to play with the ball as well, and you know, getting in positions to start attacks. And you know what Ange's like. He wants all his players to be comfortable on the ball to go and play. And you know, you see Mickey van der Ven there. He knows what he needs to do. He sees the gap. He knows his pace, and you know, he goes to attack it. And like you say, defenders now are like attackers because they're the ones that start off from the back. And you know, he started one there, and he's got his rewards because he's got an assist.
Yeah, he's got the assist, and he's got the Player of the Match award. So at that stage, it's 1-0. Tottenham were on top of Manchester United even at that stage, but they hadn't managed to extend their lead. And then Manchester United were down to 10 players. Bruno Fernandes was shown a red card for this. It was on the opposite side of the pitch from where we are, and we had to come back and look at the monitors to try and work out exactly what it had been given for. Even having seen it a few times, do you think it was harsh, Darren?
Yeah, it was harsh. It's a booking, yeah, because it's a little bit cynical because Maddison's away, there's an overload on that side. And there's a couple of camera angles that don't do it justice, but you can quite clearly see. I mean, he slips first and foremost, and he catches him with the back of his heel on Maddison's shin pad. I mean, it's not reckless. He's not endangering anyone. Yeah, it's a foul, but it's yellow card maximum. I mean, to send him off in that situation, maybe the referee, just take your time a little bit. Don't jump the gun and put the red card up. I just think he reacted a little bit too quickly. But when he sees that back, and surely they'll probably make a statement and say they got that wrong, because for me, that's not a red card.
You think the VAR should have overturned it as well?
Yeah, because it's a booking. I'm not saying it's not a foul.
He's slipped.
Exactly. I'm not
it's
quite
hard
sure
to control what you're doing when you've slipped over, you know. And I think that's where you're exactly right, Darren.
And the slip is the part that I wonder about if you're looking at that from a VAR's perspective. And as you say, we haven't heard anything from them yet, but just trying to imagine what they might say. If that is, you know, if you slip and then make a challenge with that, you're not in control. I wonder if that's something they factored in.
It's definitely one thing for sure. It's a booking. We know that, but I think is it one of those straight leg tackles where you mean to do something? He just slips and he's a little bit out of control and he puts his right leg up. But like Darren says, you almost catch him with the back of his heel. There's no real intent to hurt him. It's probably petulant, if anything. But a booking would have sufficed, and we could have got on with the game.
But Bruno Fernandes goes off, and then they head into the second half with that advantage, with that player advantage and with the goal advantage. And Tottenham very early on in the second half made it 2, Ashley.
Yeah, they did, and you know, we knew it was going to be tough for Manchester United in the second half, and you know, Tottenham wanted to go and get more and more goals, and you know, they're getting players in the box. Brennan Johnson, you know, like I say, full of confidence, he's running down the line, and you know, I'm not sure whether he picks out Kulusevski, but you know, the ball falls to him, and you know what, it's a great finish as well. He's up in the air and he's looking like Karate Kid where he finishes that off.
There's a touch of Haaland about that. He likes those kind of big kind of yogic pose kind of goals, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. It's a really inventable finish from Kulusevski there as well, because it's not an easy finish, but it almost makes his mind up for him, because it pops up there, you either go over your head, but I mean, it's a fantastic finish. That nice, gets a nice clean contact on it as well, and just lifts it over Onana, who can't react quick enough, and it's a really nice finish.
And Dominic Solanke on the score sheet as well. It took him a few games to kind of get himself up and running at Tottenham.
Yeah,
this will
he's
do
arrived
wonders.
now. He's arrived as Tottenham's number 9. It's a big moment for him. But Darren, I'm going to leave this to you. This is your domain. Tell us about this.
I just love it, because he's where all good centre forwards should be. You don't have to think about it. You anticipate that the ball might just drop here, and if you do that, I promise you, 6-7 a season you'll get without even thinking. He's in there. It's not even a clean contact on it. He just gets his studs on it in the 6-yard box, and it's a tap in. But because he anticipates where the ball's going to land, he doesn't have to do anything. And again, he's off the mark, and he's been absolutely sensational for Spurs these last
Is that
few
the
games.
famous POMO? The position of maximum opportunity.
Yeah, you know,
it's gone out of favour a little bit, but I think we should bring it back there. For
Honestly, it's one of
Solanke.
those where he does not have to think about it. If you just anticipate, because he might go there 9 times out of 10, it doesn't land there. But that one time it does land there, you make sure you're ready for it. And as I said, he doesn't have to get good contact. Just get the studs on it, something on it, and it'll end up in the net.
Yeah, I think Tottenham were excellent today. I think we all totally agree with that. But when you actually dissect those goals and you look at how Tottenham obviously carved out the opportunities, you look at Rashford, in terms of like the first goal where he just completely misses the challenge with Garnacho. And then you've got Dalot at the back post that doesn't match a run, which is like, that's just such basics. The way that you let the defender run through for the first goal, really poor. Martinez for the second goal, poor defending. And you look at the third goal there, people just not picking up. You've got Solanke, you know he's a predator in the box, he's going to score goals. Nobody's actually taking responsibility and going, that's my man, I'm going to mark him. And it's symptomatic of everything about Man United. And that actually summed them up in a nutshell, those 3 goals, if you flip it the other way. And don't just look at the good of Tottenham, but you look at how poor Manchester United were.
Well, on that and on the sending off, we can hear now from Bruno Fernandes with Patrick Davison. Everybody agrees with his view of the red card that was given, and that none of you think it was a red card. What did you make of his assessment of the rest of the game, Jamie?
They had a couple of chances, but it didn't really stir the crowd into life. Martinez had one. Casemiro had another one, half chances. We know how difficult it is. We've all been in a situation when you've got 10 men. It's tough. But I don't think that and you can't just switch it on and off. When you're the home side, you've got to take the game to the opposition, and they didn't do that at all. So I think fair enough for him coming out and saying it wasn't a red card and fessing up, but I don't think they were good enough today in any capacity.
We will talk more about Manchester United, and we will get...
And so much stress for managers, so many difficult days. But today, did you just enjoy watching your team from minute one, really?
I enjoy it all the time, mate. I mean, I think the stress is for others. I love what I do, and I love managing this team. I think, but you're right. Today was a joy to watch. You're kind of involved in the game, but I just, at times sitting back and just seeing the quality of our football, the hard work and discipline we showed, and we didn't have the ball. Outstanding effort by the lads.
What was the key to it?
I think for us it was just, having a real kind of conviction in who we are as a team. You come to a place like Old Trafford and there's always, that inclination to maybe ease off a little bit, but we just want to be a team that goes at opposition teams irrespective of where the game's played or who the opposition is. And I thought to a man, the way we started today, there's a real intent in our football.
Yeah, and you were a defender back in the day. Did you have that in the locker, what we saw from Mickey van der Ven?
No, nowhere near it, mate. I mean, outstanding. I mean, Mickey's he's a brilliant footballer, brilliant defender, great person, and it's the second time this year he's almost run the length of the field and still had the quality to set somebody up. So, it was a great first goal. Set the tone for us. I thought we really should have been out of side after about 15-20 minutes with the chances we had. But I think the pressure we were putting on, the red card was a consequence of that, and we just sort of took control after that.
But was that actually the only concern? You stood there after 30 minutes, maybe even half-time, thinking, how was this only 1-0?
No, not really. I mean, it has been a tale of our season a little bit, but I think the difference today was I just felt the lads were just, they weren't sort of dwelling too much on the missed chances and were focusing on what's next and creating more chances. And we've got guys now who are in good goal scoring form, Dom and Brennan, obviously, which we kind of didn't have in the first 2 or 3 games. So that's helping us. And I think today was I can't fault any of them. I thought it was an outstanding performance.
Yeah, outstanding performance. And he talked about Dominic Solanke there. We talked about his 2 goals in 2 games. It became 3 in 3 with his one in the second half as well, which will do him the power, of course.
Yeah, and it's a good goal, by the way. Mo will tell you, that's anticipation of where that flick's going to go. It's a good ball in. Interesting, I never asked Ange there about the set-piece coach, because he would have been...
Because they haven't got one.
He managed to do that without a set-piece coach, so credit to Ange Postecoglou today for that one, and it was good anticipation from Solanke, and that will only help. 3 in 3 now. They need a poacher. They need someone in front of goal who's going to finish off their good work. Really pleased for him. Brendan Johnson as well took a lot of stick, from the Tottenham fans, and he's really stood up and he's shown that he's got the character to play for this club.
Strikers love those goals, don't they?
Oh, they count just as much as the 30-yarders in the top corner. But no, good anticipation. Hard to defend that. A corner being flicked on at the near post and people moving off the ball. And Solanke, he gets his fair share of those in the 6-yard box. That's why he's a scorer of big numbers. He can score other types of goals, but he's always in that 6-yard box, and you need one of those.
Yeah, and Johnson scored 4 consecutive games. First time he scored against United as well today.
He showed real character. He has. He took some stick on social media, but he stood up. He's offering himself. He's getting the ball. He's taking it in the areas. He's taking the touch out of his feet and he's hitting it. He's getting his shots off. I think he can improve. I really do. I think he can get better at his trade. But a lot of confidence he's going to get from that. He's very modest, the kid. He wants to improve himself. The manager's sticking with him, giving him the confidence, so great.
Yeah, we saw a picture of his father in the stand, actually. You played with in the mid-90s, didn't you?
I actually did, yeah, with John. He was a year younger than me. He had a really bad cruciate injury, David, when he was a young player, but he was going to be a superstar, really good player, and unfortunately it didn't quite work for him, but he'll be proud of his son, scoring at Old Trafford today, I'm sure he will.
Where are you at with Spurs, then? What will it do for belief to go there today without their captain? Let's not forget, without Son.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say 1 or 2 players missing from today. Two important players, or a few important players. So that's brilliant for them. I think they've got a good squad. They're slowly building that momentum. As we mentioned, they've got a style of play. They're exciting to watch. They've started the season well in terms of performance, and probably now after that 3 points, they're starting to accumulate a few points and look at the table. Not from behind the couch now, but they're quite proud of where they are at the moment, and they're definitely a team that can challenge for the top 4. So yeah, I'd be excited if I was a Spurs fan.
Yeah, and what does it do when you go to Old Trafford and win like that?
Do you know?
Everyone does.
In our time, not many people did back then.
It's not a place anymore, where you're scared to go. Unfortunately for the Man United fans out there, everyone goes there expecting to win the football match, and there's certainly when you've got a mindset of Postecoglou, any team he manages, he will set them up on the front foot, no matter if he's going to Old Trafford or not, or wherever he goes. So, it's all good. It's a positive. It's 3 points, and it's on they're on the journey, and they're onwards and upwards for Tottenham. We will dissect from a Manchester United point of view, reaction on the way shortly. But from Tottenham, you've just said it's a big boost, and you think in terms of that 4th spot, which is up for grabs, they should be in fighting contention? I think so. I think if I said at the beginning of the season, if they can emulate what they did last year, finishing 5th, I thought it was an excellent season. If they can add a domestic trophy to that, it would have been a magnificent season. I give them a chance. No one wants to play Tottenham in any cup competition. I know they play Man City in the Carabao Cup next. They got an opportunity, even in the Europa League, to win it. No one wants to play them on their day. Especially now they've got Solanke. They've got a striker he's confident. He scores again today. It's only going to help his confidence and the boost, because they created the chances. They should have more points. An extra 3 points, what they easily should have, would send them into the top 4 anyway, at the moment. So they're underachieving where they are in the league for their performances. What I think feels deserved a little bit more. I really like the manager. I know there's been some disgruntled fans out there. It's a little bit mixed at the moment. You need to give him the time. It's unlike Ten Hag. He's showing progress. There's a clear identity out of possession and in possession, and it's an identity what everyone loves to watch. Yes, sometimes they're going to come unstuck. They're going to be wide open. They can get punished. Worried for him today, but what I didn't expect is such a poor performance from Manchester United. There was chances for Man United to break them down. You know, when them fullbacks do leave them positions, they vacate. There's like wide open spaces. You can get punished. But more often than not, the manager wants to send them out on a positive, all the time, sends them out on a positive mind frame of get at the opposition and press as high as you can and aggressive. And when you get the ball, let's pass it forward. I don't want no backward or sideward passing. We go forward. If there's space, like we saw, Mickey van der Ven, if there's space in front of you, take off. Take off with the ball. And he'd done it to a dramatic effect in the first half and give him an excellent start. But I can't speak highly enough of Postecoglou and his Tottenham side at the moment. I just think the fans need to be patient and stick with them because they're going in the right direction.
If you were a Spurs fan, would you accept some of the flaws that Tim's talking about the way they're playing because it's consistent and there is a clear style and identity about it?
Well, yeah, with Spurs, you can argue, can't you? Some people will think, you know, yes, it's great fun to watch. Yes, you're going to get some big results, and then you could be on the end of a good beating as well, the way he plays. And the question is, can they win a league playing like that? It's OK winning a league in Scotland or in Japan or Australia, but you need to be pretty foot perfect to win a Premier League. Yeah. And whether that system can win it is a debate. But isn't it lovely to be able to have a debate about something that is, you know, that's how they're going to do it. Right, let's discuss the pros and cons. And as I say, on the total flip side, when you're talking about Manchester United, there is no debate. There is no, like, what are we debating? Where are they going? What are they trying to do? We don't even know that, so we can't even debate it. So, but yeah, from Tottenham's point of view, great to watch. I like it. If I was a Tottenham fan, I'd be getting behind it. Yes, there'll be bumps on the road, but I'd be fully backing it.
I think most of the Tottenham fans are enjoying it after Conte, after Mourinho, after Nuno, where we heard all the grumblings. I think they'll accept, like Michael says, a few bumps in the road because of the way they approach the game.
Yeah, exactly. I think lads have summed it up perfectly because Tottenham know where they're going. They know what they're going to see every week. We know what we're going to see every week, and it's exciting football. It doesn't always work, as the lads have said, and sometimes you are going to come unstuck. Compare that to Man United. You've no idea. Yeah. You don't know how they're going to play. You don't know how they're going to approach games. Are they going to play on the counter-attack? Are they going to sit deep? Are they going to try and have all the possession of the game? But we've no idea.
Should we know by now, Paul?
Of course we should. Yeah.
I don't think the players know going out.
Well, this is my next question.
I don't think when they go out,
not coached, isn't it?
They look an uncoached football team. Yeah.
Today, do you think Ten Hag? So they played on the counter-attack most of the time. Tottenham had loads more possession than them. Do you think Ten Hag said to them today, we're probably not going to have most of the possession, we're going to sit back and counter-attack? I'm not sure. I just think it happens. Whatever happens, just
happens. Well, I agree. I think whatever happens, and he just takes it. But
is that acceptable in the third season of someone coaching a set of players?
No, it's not. As I say, we're two and a bit years in now, aren't we? From the first week Postecoglou went in, we probably knew what Tottenham were going to do, and they're doing it to this day. We're 2 and a bit years down the road. It looks, as I said, it's an uncoached team. Players look dead today. They look flat. They look. Yeah. I don't know what to do. There's no enthusiasm for the game of football, and that can only come from the training pitch. They don't know what they want. See, some of the positions that people take up on the pitch, it's just madness at times, and you wonder why teams are breaking through them all the time. And look, I know he's used the excuse of he signed young players a little bit this year, but there was 6 or 7 probably of his players there. Know how they're going to play. You don't know how they're going to approach games. Are they going to play on the counter-attack? Are they going to sit deep? Are they going to try and have all the possession of the game? But we've no idea.
Should we know by now, Paul?
Of course we should. Yeah.
I don't think the players know going out.
Well, this is my next question.
I don't think when they go out,
not coached, isn't it?
They look an uncoached football team. Yeah.
Today, do you think Ten Hag? So they played on the counter-attack most of the time. Tottenham had loads more possession than them. Do you think Ten Hag said to them today, we're probably not going to have most of the possession, we're going to sit back and counter-attack? I'm not sure. I just think it happens. Whatever happens, just
happens. Well, I agree. I think whatever happens, and he just takes it. But
is that acceptable in the third season of someone coaching a set of players?
No, it's not. As I say, we're two and a bit years in now, aren't we? from the first week Postecoglou went in, we probably knew what Tottenham were going to do, and they're doing it to this day. With 2.5 years down the road, it looks, as I said, it's an uncoached team. Players look dead today. They look flat. They look. Yeah. I don't know what to do. There's no enthusiasm for the game of football, and that can only come from the training pitch. They don't know what they want. See, some of the positions that people take up on the pitch, it's just madness at times, and you wonder why teams are breaking through them all the time. And look, I know he's used the excuse of he signed young players a little bit this year, but there was 6 or 7 probably of his players there who probably Zirks you can take out of that who's a young player you got 23, but still these are experienced players who they've paid a lot of money for. We need to stop hearing excuses and get on that training pitch and find a way of playing. Just find something, give us something.
Yeah. There will be some Man United fans out there screaming at the TV and saying, how can you be talking so highly of Tottenham and their manager Postecoglou and not Ten Hag when he's won 2 trophies? And Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham fans will rip your hands off for them 2 trophies, the FA Cup. But we're talking about the bigger picture. They've signed 16 players under him. They spent an absolute fortune at that club, Manchester United. They should be better than what they are. Not only that, the recruitment of the players is so difficult. If I was head of recruitment at Manchester United, I don't know what players he wants. I don't know what characteristic he wants in different positions. If I was scouting there and head of recruitment at Tottenham, I know exactly what Postecoglou wants because it's clear. He doesn't want fullbacks who are going to stay in there. He wants people like Undogi and Pedro Porro who just bomb into the midfield and they're really energetic, aggressive with the press and exciting in the final third. That's what he wants. We know what his midfield looks like. Look at him playing today. Bentancur, Kulusevski and Maddison. He knew he was going to have possession of the ball. He knew he wanted players who could use the ball and use it effectively. That's exactly what he got today.
Tim, this is an interesting... Some points I've thought, he's changing his way. Goalkeeper was a case in point. You get rid of De Gea and you bring in probably one of the best goalkeepers in the world with his feet. So you think, wow, right, they're going to play this expansive... Yeah. They get rid of Cristiano Ronaldo because no energy, we want a high press. They play more counter-attack. Yeah. He's buying certain players and you think, OK, that might be now a change. Yeah. And then what happens when they get onto the pitch? They don't utilise the skills of... Their defenders aren't great on the ball. No. Yet they've got one of the best goalkeepers he hardly passes it out to them now. You can't trust them. It's just the whole thing is a mismatch. You look at every single aspect of that club. Injuries is a massive problem. Yeah. That's not luck. That's how you train on the pitch. Scholes says they're looking flat. Again, that's the training pit. Are these players fit enough? Are they right? Are they fresh enough?
Game 6 of the season.
Buying players. Recruitment is awful.
It's a good point about recruitment. You can't recruit for what you don't know what you want. If you don't have a style of play, what are you recruiting for?
Yeah, exactly.
As he makes a point with Tim, you know exactly what they want. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You know what they need. You need the fullbacks they need athletic people just to play the positions who can do that. With United, you think about it's like they're just picking people from the air and then trying to put them together. They're
surviving on moments. They're relying on Garnacho with the pace. Head down, pace, run. Rashford, exactly the same. Bruno, a little bit of magic. We know he's got the quality. He's got the petulance. What we've seen today, gets himself a red card. They can't play off anyone. They've got a boy who's Jadon Sancho. He's showing them up at the moment. Watched him play yesterday for Chelsea. He balances them on the right-hand side. He comes into them pockets. Yes, he needed babysitting. Should have put his arm around him. First and foremost, the important thing is not how you feel as a person to how the players treating you. It's getting the best out of him for the fans who come and watch every single week. Sancho there plays. He's not a bottle of pop. He doesn't get his head down. He plays off the centre forward. No wonder he can't play at Man United because he's got no one to play off. Xerxes, I don't know what he is. What is he, an 8? He's certainly not a 9. We talked about he wants to be a 9.5. I don't see him as a 10. I don't see him as that clever player who can hold the play up and let people run beyond him. I don't see what he's got. I don't know in every division of their pitch. He talks about we haven't got the personnel last year to play higher up the field, so we're going to have to defend deep. And then he signs De Ligt. Mickey van der Ven should have been his signing to get him up the pitch. Quicker than greased lightning. Anything goes in behind him, he goes and rescues it.
I think that's another point. When you bring players in, you expect them to be a lot better than what you've already got. I don't see players coming in who are a big difference. Like De Ligt's come in for Maguire, let's say. But there's no big difference there.
£50 million better than Maguire.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
They should stop this signing. Just stop immediately. The money that's been wasted for years and years and years now just has to stop.
Yeah.
And until the manager, until that coaching staff, until the club can start getting better performances from within, then there should be just a stop on spending. Because
do you think it's possible with these players, though?
Who's their best?
It's possible to play better than this.
They need coaching. Yeah.
Who's their best players?
The players are coachable.
Garnacho?
It's their academy.
Kobe Mainu?
Yeah, it's their academy guys.
Rashford at times.
But this magic wand of, another 50 million. You look at all around that team at the moment, it is just eye-watering.
There'll be people screaming at the TV sets and we'll change the whole coaching staff in the summer.
Yeah, they're changing everything.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
You've got Ruben Nistelrooy.
Needing coaching. Well, I suppose do they need time? I don't.
Yeah, but managers tend to do a lot of the coaching now, don't they? Yeah. You wonder how much of an influence Rude and the other fella. Sorry, I don't know his name. We said the same last season about Steve McLaren.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant coach, Steve. And we said that we just don't think he's got any influence on this team. And coaches, sometimes they are control freaks, aren't they? They want to do everything, and it seems. And do you know what? If you was Rude watching that, you maybe just take a back seat.
If you're Rude,
I don't want to get involved in that.
If you're Rude, Scholes, his expertise has to come as a centre-forward coach.
Yeah.
He knows it inside out. He would say, well, give me a centre-forward to coach, and I'll do it. I don't see a centre-forward. Hoyland is the only one they got.
He also has to be involved in the recruitment side of it.
Yeah.
With a centre-forward. Or two centre-forwards. Look, Rude, who do you think? I'm not sure he'd have picked Xerxes.
No.
I'm not sure he'd have picked Highland. Now, look, there's probably not a plethora of centre-forwards out there, but you'd go and consult him, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, this is a huge result. It could have been a huge result the other way as well. It could have given them the platform, like it's given Tottenham now. Because whatever the result, the manager on the losing side was going to take some pressure. But more pressure always at Man United. He's not stupid, Ten Hag. He's managing the biggest club in the world, and you have to win, certainly at home, and you can't get Dumfries. In teams in around you. He's got done 3 at Liverpool. It was humiliation. That was humiliation today. Or you argue we went down to 10 men because they got him off the hook. They were going to beat that anyway. They should have been 4 down by
3 was a great result. You think of the chances Werner had going through clean through.
Is that the point, though? They're not just losing. It's the way they're losing and the score lines they're losing.
It's the way they play every week.
Yeah.
Even when they won games last year, they were still poor. Still really poor to watch, and they got away with it. But they lose 14 games, we said last season. Yeah. Well, we're on our way.
Lost 3 already this season.
Well, we're on our way to do it again, aren't we? And somehow it has to stop. He has to find a way of performances being so bad. He's got to maybe think of a way of playing. As Tim said and Michael before the game, he really praised Postecoglou for the way they play. Why don't you try and play like that?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's that good and he's doing such a good job, you try it.
Or try anything.
Or try something.
Try something.
Show us something.
It's mind-blowing. And as I said before...
Really trim and fair. I thought, wow, these are going to run all over us. And it's exactly what happens in games. And there's spells in games. They might be OK for half a game. Man United, Crystal Palace last week, brilliant for half a game. Oh, not brilliant, but good.
They got moments, yeah.
Then in the second half, they're nowhere to be seen and should probably lose the game. So, look, not having your team fit... Now, look, we know there's bigger problems that, of course, his style of play and all this type of stuff. But I don't think there should be any excuse for not having a fit team.
Yeah, and injuries go hand in hand with that, Steve. Yeah. I've lost count of the amount of times Erik Ten Hag has come on and bemoaned his luck with injuries. That's, yes, 1 or 2. You can have you can roll your ankle, you can have a knee, a big impact injury. But muscles and conditioning injuries, that's what you do on the training pitch. They're spending millions, probably more than any other football club, certainly in this country, on sports science, on all the best equipment, the best coaches, the best, everything. They don't leave a stone unturned. Yet they have the worst injury record, or one of the worst injury records in the league, and have had consistently for the last couple of seasons. And visually, when you're watching them, they don't look as if they're as sharp as any other team either. So that's a huge problem. As I say, everywhere you look at the moment, I'm just struggling, and I'm a positive person, I'm just struggling to find a positive when I watch Manchester United. And it's not just a feeling that I've had for the last week. This has been the case for a long, long time now. If it hasn't turned in the last year since I've thought that this is not happening, then it's not going to change in the next year.
From now then, how do United change their fortunes and some of the things that you're discussing?
Steve, I don't know. They've got to get on the training pitch, and he's got to give people around the club, not just the players, but the fans, some hope that we're going in some kind of direction. As every other team that seems to come know what they're doing, what they're playing. Fans can accept it when sometimes it doesn't work and performances aren't great. But as long as there's a way and a hope and some kind of identity to your team, fans will stay with it. Look, these fans are brilliant.
It's incredible. I was just about to say, it's incredible how they've stuck with them.
They'll stick with them through everything. That could be...
To the detriment.
That'll be low today. That'll be a low point for many fans. You saw... There must have been 2,000 left in the stadium with 10 minutes to go. So look, all you can say is work hard on the training pitch, but how long are we going to keep saying that for? It's been 2 and a bit years now, and we're just seeing nothing to hang your hats on. And all that stuff in the second half where they're going around kicking people. You know, Martinez did it, Mason Mount did it at one point. Come on, that's what you need in the first 3 or 4 minutes. You saw De Ligt when he let the leg go through, just take everything. You've got to stop stuff like that, and you have to worry for him. You have to worry for his future from what we're seeing.
He's got 2 tough games coming up. They go at Porto, they're away, and Aston Villa. So, you know, the international break's coming up in October. I worry for him.
Tottenham side of the story, a terrific result for them. Let's talk to one of their goal scorers there, Kulusevski, who's delighted to join us in the rain at Old Trafford. Dejan, well done. What a great day for you and the team, and a result like that at Old Trafford.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a very good game, especially first half. I think we played unbelievable, and that's how we should play every game, because that's the quality we have, so we have to do it.
And the way you started as well. I mean, a 1-up inside 3 minutes away from home at Old Trafford.
Yeah, no, I think the pressure first half was unbelievable. They didn't come out once, and that's what we want to do. We want to press high, we want to win every ball. We prepare every day to play like this, and we just have to go out and do it like we did today.
Dan, congratulations, mate. It was an excellent performance today. Everyone's playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. And I said at the beginning here that I think that you should have more points than you actually have. You would have took your chances in the other game, you'd already be in the top 4. How enjoyable is it day to day playing in this side under this manager?
I think we didn't start the season off so good. We played good, but the confidence was not there for the players, and that's not what we have now. Because when you do 1 assist, when you score 1 goal, it helps so much. And now all of us in front have much better confidence, self-belief, and then we show ourselves to be much more better players. So our season starts now. It started now.
Dejan, talk us through your goal today. It was a nice little finish. You started the first half really well, and of course the second half as well.
I haven't seen it.
Here you go then.
Here I can see it, yeah. I just trying to attack the box because that's where you score goals. You just have to be close to the goal. And then it's a great finish. It's a good finish, and I needed this goal because I need the first goals. And after that, you know, I play much better. I play much more freely. My father was in the stands coming from Sweden, so it was good.
Wow, what a moment for that, to score in front of your father at Old Trafford.
Yeah, no, that's what life is about. You know, you don't do it for yourself. You do it for your kid. You do it for your family. That's the only important thing in life.
And how important was it to get a result at Old Trafford today for Tottenham to try and push on now? 4 wins in a row in all competitions.
So important because we want to be the best, and you have to play every game like this. And now it's important that we stay like this, hungry, because when you want to have this feeling forever. So every day, forget tomorrow, just go in strong and work hard to be the best as you can, because it's not easy. It's not easy. Everybody knows it.
Dejan, very well done today. Go and enjoy the moment with your father. Thank you very much
Thank you very much,
for joining
guys.
us.
Well done.
Thank you.